I can't tell you how pleased and honored I am to be here to speak to you today, especially at the celebration of a true American, a true Californian, a personal hero, Cesar Chavez. I'd like to thank the Board of Supervisors and Steve Weir for planning and hosting the event. And congratulations to the students. You are our future Cesar Chavezes. This is a historic moment, is it not? I could hardly contain myself on Sunday. Man, it was just so great to see all of it happen and that we are alive to witness it. We have just witnessed the approval of a landmark bill that will provide the badly needed overhaul of this country's healthcare delivery system. With the president's signature today, and it was great to see him sign it with all his 20 pens, HR 3590, the second bill, what they call the Fix-It bill, the Reconciliation Act, goes to Senate for consideration. It requires a simple majority for approval, or 51 votes. And I think we need to understand that this Senate bill is very important to us because amongst all the things that it proposes to do, it provides more assistance for California for the Medicaid expansion, which will be the biggest expansion of Medicaid and Medi-Cal in 45 years. So this is really, really history. 32 million uninsured will gain coverage under this new bill, including subsidies for those with lower incomes. No more denials or rates based on pre-existing conditions. For community health centers, and of course, an issue near and dear to my heart, healthcare reform means the authorization of an appropriation of $11 billion in new funding. $11 billion. The $11 billion will be received by community health centers over the next 5 years. There's $1.5 billion in there for construction and renovation of new sites. It requires all plans to contract with essential providers, which are community health centers. It funds preventive services to include an expanded list of services. And an issue, no matter if we get healthcare reform, if we don't have the people to provide the services, we're in trouble. And this $11 billion authorizes 1.5 for new funding for National Health Service Corps. So it's really a terrific, terrific moment. But make no mistake, the implementation work will be huge and it'll be significant. And you know what? It's a problem we want. It really is. And it's a problem we should enjoy having. I have to believe that Cesar Chavez would be elated. It is the type of social justice that he sought to attain. And my only regret is that Senator Ted Kennedy, who's considered the father of community health centers and a tireless and longtime advocate of healthcare reform, is not here to enjoy the moment, at least not in his physical body. As you know, the Kennedy family, including Senator Ted, walked and marched with Cesar Chavez and the farm workers in solidarity for many, many years. I, for one, am real glad to have this behind us, and now the real work can begin. Still, and I think the proponents of healthcare, and I include myself in that group, have some self-reflection to do about how our support could have been more visible. The vote was way too close for comfort. How could we have done a better job of making sure that our values were clearly communicated and that our perspectives were more prominently in the debate mix? I don't know about you, but I couldn't stomach hearing one more time from one more person that the American people don't want healthcare reform. This American person wants healthcare reform. I don't know about you, and I know Cisco's in the house, but I am more than capable of speaking my own mind. And I certainly don't appreciate people representing or purporting to represent me on this matter. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. She's a CEO of a clinic in San Diego County, and she was telling me about a recent visit she had with her congressman, a Democrat, back in DC. My colleague asked him whether he was going to support national health reform, and he told her that he was still on the fence, still undecided. And then he stopped and he looked at her and he said, why is it that the people fighting against healthcare reform are the only people I see on the news. And you know, I have to agree with that assessment. Why were our voices so silenced? We must do a better job of this. Today, we are here to celebrate the life of Cesar Chavez, a man who clearly understood personal responsibility. With this major victory behind us, we must be invigorated and embrace the challenges yet to come, and heaven knows there's many of them. This is what Cesar Chavez did with every new grower contract that was signed. We need to follow his lead and take more responsibility so that the issues that are important to us are discussed and debated in a way that includes our perspective. As just evidenced in the healthcare reform journey we've been on, we have a long way to go. Clearly, immigration reform will follow this landmark decision. In some ways, it's too bad that immigration reform wasn't resolved first, although I totally understand why the order was such as it was. As it stands, undocumented taxpayers are excluded from even being able to purchase insurance. Legal immigrants continue to be barred from coverage for the first 5 years after obtaining legal status. Yet polls from the Public Policy Institute of California show that people in this state of California support immigrants. A strong majority of Californians think that immigrants are a net benefit to the state because of their hard work and job skills. 7 out of 10 Californians think that undocumented immigrants who have been here working for 2 years should be allowed a path to citizenship. A majority of every party agrees with this. If the vast majority of Californians are pro-immigrant, how is it that elected officials only hear from the anti-immigrant minority? We have all heard the rhetoric. It's ugly, it's mean-spirited, and it's very, very loud. The answer is that we, you and I, are too quiet. It takes courage to stand up and say our piece, especially when the words on the other side are so ugly and so threatening. Now, you know what? We're going to get a chance to warm up to this immigration debate because it is going to be heavy. And we have a chance to warm up and get ready for it because before it, there's going to be some issues that we will face that are a tad less controversial, such as the budget that California will pass. And as you know from the last round, the communities we care about were devastated. We know about the painful cuts that Contra Costa County had to make to its safety net. And we know that the cuts that have been made and are proposed to be made in the next round do not make sense from a social justice angle. But ironically, they don't add up on the financial point of view either. How does eliminating dental care and forcing patients to the emergency room, certainly a more expensive venue by definition, make sense? How does redirecting vulnerable seniors away from adult day health care to nursing homes make financial sense? These are the decisions that are being made on our behalf, so what are we going to do about it? Are we okay that now more of our tax dollars go to prison than higher education? Are we okay with the fact that California is the only place in the United States and in the world that does not charge oil companies an extraction fee? What are our values and how are they reflected in the budgets that govern our communities? I ask us today to remember Cesar Chavez by his words, 3 words to be exact. And if you've been within 1,000 feet of any progressive rally in the past 40 years, you know what I'm talking about. What are they? Sí se puede, sí se puede. It's a phrase that's been used so much that it's easy to say without even thinking about it. But there's something interesting about those 3 words. Something interesting happens when you translate them to English. If you go to the United Farm Workers website, you will see that the union translates it as sí se puede, or yes, it can be done. In this version, sí se puede is a statement that what may seem impossible is in fact achievable, that forces of oppression can be overturned, that no amount of money or power or influence can make a tyrant invisible. It is a powerful, powerful idea. But with all due respect to the United Farm Workers and their translation, I prefer another version of Si se puede. I prefer to say, Si se puede, yes, we can. The difference is the we. The first translation affirms that what seems impossible is achievable. The second translation tells us that it is we, you and I, who can achieve it. And if we can achieve great things, then the question is, will we try? Will we be the ones to stand up, embrace our challenges, and fight for a better tomorrow? Si se puede. Yes, it can be. And we must be the ones to make it happen. Thank you.